Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic Hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about the latest episode of my adventures with Superman. It was called 0 Day Part 2. As the episode starts, Lois and Jimmy can't find Clark, and as they're looking, Lois's kid scoop group steps up to help, led by Flip. Meanwhile, Superman is in a stockade in the General's captivity. The General asks him when the Kryptonian invasion will start. He doesn't say Kryptonian, but he says, when is the invasion going to start? And Superman tells him he has no idea what he's talking about, but the General tells him that he thinks he's lying because he was there on 0 Day, which apparently was a day 20-odd years ago when a seemingly Kryptonian fleet showed up and attacked the base that he and Waller were serving on, only to be taken out by something not seen in the flashback/hologram depicting this attack. General thinks Superman is a weapon and that his people will be coming back. Meanwhile, Lois regrets being harsh to Clark before he disappeared, but Jimmy assures her it'll all be okay and that they'll find him. At the same time, the tech-enhanced villain leader in Cadmus' lockup, Ivo, throws a fit in his cell wanting to get out and get to Superman. His compatriots manage to escape and they break him out, at which point Ivo goes right to Superman and attacks him after unlocking his bonds, only to be confronted by the General who wants Superman alive for questioning. Superman hears Lois calling, and having partially recovered from his powers being dampened, he leaves the facility through the roof, which brings him to the streets via the sewer, as this facility was apparently underground, where Flip finds him. When Lois and Jimmy reunite with Superman, he tells them what the General showed him via hologram and that he believes that he is indeed a weapon, and Lois assures him that he isn't. He then goes to try to stop Ivo, who had grown ginormous and who is attacking the city to draw Superman out. Seeing that Superman needs help, Jimmy goes live on his social media and lets Lois send out a message to the public calling for help. And she makes an impassioned plea for everyone to turn off their lights and devices so Ivo can't suck power from the city and maintain his power and strength against Superman, who himself hears everything she says from a distance and also hears everyone agreeing out loud to do as Lois asked. And then he defeats the now powerless Ivo. Reunited with Jimmy and, of course, Lois, who declares her love for him, he reciprocates that feeling before they smooch. Jimmy gets a gander at the file orb contents, and Waller takes over Task Force X after getting the General removed as leader and giving him an order to find and kill Superman with Ivo's last weapon invention, which is some kind of gun. That's where the episode ended. So I like this episode, and I've been liking the episodes more and more as they go on because they're starting to have more meat to them and more of a point to them than the sort of disjointed stories we were getting in the beginning of this ragtag group of tech-enhanced individuals going around pulling off minor crimes. And in this episode, we got to see what looked like, as the General was saying, a Kryptonian invasion of Earth that happened, I guess, 22 years ago, Amanda says, and which was only stopped by something that we don't see. So the robots are attacking and the ships are attacking, and then something puts down the robots and the attack kind of ends, but we don't see what it was. So I see why the General is concerned, seeing as Superman's running around displaying all these powers. And we didn't have that information at the beginning, and we didn't understand where the plot was going. It was just kind of generic, but now it really seems to be heading somewhere. And there are a couple of episodes left, it looks like. There are at least 2 more, according to IMDb. So I'm looking forward to how this whole season, or if it's just a one-off series, how it wraps up. But I want to know what took out the robots. And a further reason that it's interesting is because at some point, Waller and the General have an argument, and that's why she gets him removed in the end. And they argue about how he wasn't willing to kill Superman, when Waller thinks that's the best course of action, obviously, because she orders him to do it at the end. And I think it's because, at least according to him, that's because he wanted Superman alive to get information from him. But Waller says something to him that she thinks is behind his motivation, and she says, you can't do it because he reminds you of her. Now, who's her? And what person could Superman possibly remind anyone else of? Would it be Kara Zor-El? Could it be Superman's mother from Krypton? Because don't forget, somebody took out the robots. Somebody who maybe was not totally on board with the Kryptonian attack on Earth, who had the power to stop them, would seem to have stopped them. But we don't know who that is. So the question is, was it the her that Amanda is referring to? And was that her Supergirl, Kara Zor-El, or Superman's Kryptonian mother? It might be somebody completely different, but I'm wondering if it's one of those two people, because who else could it be? Could be Wonder Woman, I suppose. It could be Diana Prince. But that would be kind of weird for them to have bring in like on a tangent on this show. So I don't know. I don't think that's it. Could be Hawk Girl. I mean, theoretically, but again, I don't think that's it. But anyway, there's some interesting stuff that is yet to be revealed, and hopefully it'll all come out in the next 2 episodes. I mean, for example, why would Kryptonian forces even attack Earth, like for an invasion? Like, why would they do that? That wasn't their way. They were explorers. I mean, of course, it is Zod's way, but is that what happened? Did he go rogue and decide to attack Earth? Wouldn't be the first time, that we've seen that. So there's a lot of interesting stuff left to find out. The Lois Superman relationship is heating up. They smoochted. Did they do that before? I think maybe they did, but they did it again. And they said, I love you. That was the big difference. This time they exchanged I love yous. So it's heating up, which is good. So that's really it. I mean, I'm continuing to like the show. As I said, I'm enjoying it more these last 3 episodes. So I'm happy about that. And the next 2 should be pretty good based on, these last 2 or 3 and based on the plot points that they set up. So I'm looking forward to those. I will, of course, be back to do a recap and review of each episode once it's released. I'm out of here for now. And until I return, I wish you peace and long life.